First of all, I would like to thank the Pacific women for the support they've given us in terms of financial assistance, and also our your technical experts that been bring us from a very far journey. We strengthen or emphasize the public and aligned ministries, and this includes the capacity building. That's part of the role of Pacific women, and we are working together with that. The other one is women economic empowerment. Thirdly is the women in leadership, and lastly, final one is the ending violence against women and girls. Previously, it's just women, but through the current trends or issues we face, and that's why we include most of the victims, I may say, is that the girls are also being violated. So one of our key message is to work together with Pacific women, is that to strengthen these services throughout the government level, and also our partners from outside here in Tuvalu. Because gender equality is how to balance the opportunity of women and men. So those opportunities we need to balance the women in leadership, and also men have to the same level that faced by men and women. I have to acknowledge the work that my predecessor, Ms. Asita Morti, who has been working along with our colleagues in trying to convince the public and encourage how the gender equality works here in Tuvalu. So some of the challenges she faced is that how men and women works in communities, especially. We see now there are some women holding a kaupule position in the kaupule. We have now 6 members of women holding this high level or the local level positions in the island communities. We have in Funafuti two in Funafuti. There are the 2 women holding this position. So we see this. There's a change coming in. So women are more reflected in the community level, with the hope that this continue to the national level and in the parliament sitting. For instance, we only have 1 woman being seated in the seat. So it's the idea of how gender equality works. So with the help of stakeholders in the ministry or within the government, and also part of our CSO, so the media is also part of that. Tufa, Tango, and all these sectors, Tuvalu National Women of Council, and also the Pacific women, with the help of giving technical assistance through how we can convince the public, encourage the women to go and put their names on those seats. So with that, women are not only, they are there, but just to giving more effort on how they can go on to those seats with the kaupule and also the national levels. There is one thing that we need to keep in mind, especially women and men in Tuvalu. The part of gender equality plays a very important role between these 2 people, men and women. So the challenge that's been continuing from the beginning is the way we see, or the behavior, the attitude that men and women face. Some of the activities we done is where women are also looking down on other women. So that's not the case. We want to work and continue. So that's the main mentality of people of the Tuvalu. We see we neglect some of our women, or we neglect women, see men as a downside for them. So gender equality plays a very important role. So in order to maintain or balance a little the opportunities for men and women, we need to reduce this kind of behavior, attitude, and the mentality of how we can survive in the long term. Sometimes the culture helps gender equality. We see our Tuvaluan values, how we value other people, the kaidasi and also the falepili, the principle we have now. So sometimes it's the way of, as I said before, it's the way of how people behave, and that's where the gender equality, gender inequality applies. So it's just a way of how we behave. But our culture support the idea of gender equality. It's just the way of how our attitude shows on how we look at women or women look at us men. So it's just a way of how we behave. With our policies, our convention, some of our new initiatives we developed with the help of our former colleagues, Ranuola, Lupe, and Asita. They were really helpful in the way they convinced women to go on these positions with the help. So ending violence against women and girls is something that we need to consider carefully. Not only we are in the situation of looking at women and girls, but also looking at men also. There's a part of we need to consider these two genders, men and women, and also with the help, focus on looking at girls, especially girls, our young ones, our future generation. We work together with this department, domestic violence unit under the police department, and also the social welfare, the health department. So these are the agencies that look after the victims. So once they allow us to intervene, and that's where we can bring these victims. So we deliver the service, the counseling service, and also with a small funding in order for them to settle with a very short period of time in the safe house. But we have trained some of the counselors we have in the Outer Islands. So we bring this social work officer from Kaupule staff. So we bring them to train other, well, it's APTC, but also with the help of Pacific Women. So changing with counseling services they delivered, I guess it's becoming, it's more effective nowadays. One of our plans between these two departments, with the help of Pacific Women, to develop such a great office, a good office, in order for these counselors, because we have so many counselors here in Tuvalu, but they don't have any place or office to sit with their victims and talk more about the issues. So there's a plan, or there's an idea of it's coming up to develop an office specifically for these counseling services. Women and girls are coming into the office, so there's a great big change of number coming into the office, not to us but to the social welfare department. That's where the psychosocial, the local counselor office in the department. But the change is that there are victims coming in of domestic violence. So we see that domestic violence is not a silent issue. Mainstreaming gender into the Tekete is such a huge job for us. Mostly the Tekete is more general, but from our point of view, from the gender point of view, we have to mainstream gender responsive to these activities within the Tekete. So what we did is to consult. We are going to do the consultation with each line ministries, each line departments, on what we can look into more deep in terms of gender, being responsive. In terms of Tekete, to mainstream gender into Tekete, we get really, or Gender Affairs Department really need the support of Pacific Women to continue without this help from our partner like Pacific Women. We cannot continue because there are so many challenges, but we cannot tackle them just one, but we can do that eventually. But somehow, with the help of Pacific women, we can continue, to be more successful in the future. I have a lot of hope for women and girls here in Tuvalu. But with the hope of Pacific women, I want to continue work with the Pacific women. I know that it's coming to the end of the Pacific women under the defect. So I want to continue this work with the help of Pacific women. We need that support. We need your fully support on that in order for us to continue implement the gender equality, expect the counseling services, ending violence against women, and also the women in leadership as part of our work here in Tuvalu. So we need that fully support from you, Pacific women, with the hope that you continue offer us this support and services. Fastailas.